Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I'm the Gerald. Today, I'm continuing my series of modding guides for the new Vanguard, Mace Vanguard crew, and today is the main event, Mace Windu Jedi Master himself. Now you're probably thinking, but hey, he ain't in the game yet. I know, doesn't mean we can't break down the kit, the team synergies, the leadership, blah, 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 and try to make a absolutely logical and coherent argument for what's probably going to work best, which is exactly what I am prepared to present to you. So please do give me the like and subscribe. A lot of work goes into putting together these videos, and I think it's actually pretty sound advice. You don't have to agree with me. That's the beautiful thing about being, a person, is that we don't have to agree. So if you do disagree, let me know your thoughts and why in the comments, and maybe you will persuade me to change my mind. You never know. But in the interim, this guy, I gotta say, his kit is really, really cool. As we proceed through this video, I'm going to break down his kit, I'm going to explore his leadership, and I'm going to look at unique synergies among the 4 fellow teammates, Depa, Jocasta, Temple Guard, and Isla. There is no other Jedi Vanguard that I recommend putting in this squad. There's just way too much going on that work well together. So how are the top guilds modding him? Well, of course, they're not, because he's not in game yet, so let's move on. Top mechanics. As we proceed through this, there are 5 mechanics you need to keep in mind. That's the same number as the fingers you got there, okay? So if you're confused, look at your fingers and think to yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how many mechanics are. First off, straight up damage. That's all there is to it. Damage. This guy's an attacker, and he's going to be swinging a lot. Now, is it important that he is a high damage dealer? To be determined. Some characters look like they're going to hit really, really hard, but in practice, they're just pathetic. Others are like, where did that come from, right? So modding this guy for damage probably is not bad. That's actually what I'm going to do as a secondary, not the primary. The real reason we'll get to in a second, but the other 4 mechanics you've got to keep in mind are in order: Shatterpoint, Investigation, Revealed, and Low Morale. What's amazing about this is that Mace and, by extension, Depa are going to apply Shatterpoint and Investigation, which is going to convert into being revealed later. And when you kill the enemy leader, the enemy squad is going to become, quote, low moral instead of demoralized. And, or morale, I guess I should say low morale. And the thing is, none of that is resistible. So that means like potency doesn't matter for these considerations. Nonetheless, I'm still going to recommend a potency mod set. Let's explore, and I'll tell you why. First off, before we get too deep, let's look at the base stats. And if you just mod on these base stats, I'm warning you, it's a trap. The base stats are highly, highly, highly misguiding. For example, if we look at speed, at Relic 7 and 9, of course, doesn't make a difference. Mace Windu Legendary has a speed of 168. Now that's slightly above average, but that still means that there's roughly 120 characters in game faster than him. Just if you want a perspective, it's the same speed as Revan at base. However, through Mace's kit, through Depa's kit, through Temple Guard's kit, we are going to get a lot of bonuses. And for example, while Mace has a base tenacity of 45%, which does suck, he has an ability granting the team tenacity up, and if you know tenacity up, then you know you cannot be debuffed while you have tenacity up unless someone cleanses it or applies tenacity down. That said, the base kits are misleading, so we're not going to look too much at that. What we are going to look at is the base kits plus the benefits from the team, and I'm going to explain all of these, but this is a good little quick screenshot if you want to grab it on what's going to happen. First off, in Mace's own kit, in the convoluted short book that's attached to him, he's going to give himself 35 speed, asterisk, assuming Depa's an ally. If no Depa, then it's only 20 speed. You need to keep Depa with Mace. These two are married despite Jedi not being allowed to be married. they're married, okay? Just take my word for it. So he's going to get 35 speed right off the bat, pushing him to 203 speed. My target is going to be to get this guy up over 350, because at 203 speed, I need plus 147 speed addition to get him at 250. That's that's very achievable if you are mid-late game. I mean, honestly, if you're farming Jedi Master Mace Windu, then you're mid-late game, and then this should be really achievable. He also gives himself a bonus 30% health, which is going to give him a lot more health than protection. However, if you do the math on the 6 dot, give him 16% of the 109,000 health, and I'm not honestly sure which comes first, the kit or the mods. I think the kit comes first. I'm not sure. Regardless, he still wins out with a protection mod set, because he's going to get additional protection from Isla, additional health from Isla. He's going to get 30% potency and tenacity from Isla. She is going to really boost this guy. Of course, Mace is also going to give himself 40% critical chance, an additional 40% critical damage, and 40% office. Now, office? Yes, office. He loves his office space. Now, it's where he, teaches people to be masters unless their names are Anakin. Now, in GAC, if you have the Temple Guard Omicron, which, whoa, mine just got 14 holds in GAC Kyber 1, baby, 14 holds. I can't wait to see what my opponent threw at it. Who was with him? Qui-Gon Jinn lead, Temple Guard, and I don't remember. I think it might have been Shak Ti. Don't remember. Anyway, if you have the GAC Omicron, Temple Guard's going to give him an additional 100% offense, potency, and defense, at which point the potency mod set I'm going to recommend isn't so useful. So I'll show you the options for plan B. Okay, so here's how I'm going to mod him. Screenshot if you want. I'll hit this again at the end of the video when after I have gone through to present my evidence and kit analysis, because the real power in Mace is not going to be himself. Mace's real contribution to this is the synergy he has with Depa. Sincerely, Depa and him are a duo. Like I said, they're married, and so the way you mod your Mace honestly may not make a massive impact. Now, time will tell when he comes to the board, and I will actually do an updated guide later, just doing a quick synopsis of the whole team and cute infograph styles so you can grab those. But I'm going to run a speed primary set with a potency secondary and a potency primary on the cross, because my target with mod and kit bonuses is I want a 350 plus speed, as I said. I want 123% potency. I want 10,000 damage. I want 100% crit chance and 190% crit damage. Now, this is, I would say please do not put any critical chance mods on him. There are ways to get critical chance up on the team, and his kit with Isla's bonus is going to take him over 95% already. So he should have a pretty good critical chance right off the get. Okay, so now let's break this down. We're going to start off with leadership. Now, leadership is surprisingly unimportant when it comes to modding him. At the very top, underlined in yellow and green, pink, you can see corresponding information straight down here. It says yellow is offense, white is potency, green will be health protection, purple, pink will be speed. Nothing else is going to really make a difference in here. So in all of that word jargon, here's what you got to know. Mace is going to give himself, well, actually all Jedi Vanguard, 20% critical chance, 20% critical damage, 20% offense, and 10 speed doubled if Depa is on the battlefield, right? So right there, Depa, big shout out. Now the rest of this, investigation, revealed, investigation, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into much depth on that, but I'll just summarize this. Whenever a Jedi Vanguard uses an ability, if no enemy is investigated, they get a stack of investigation. When they get 5 stacks of investigation, they dispel those and it becomes revealed. Whenever they are revealed, basically they're just screwed. They can't get in stealth, they lose a lot of critical damage, they can't attack on a turn, they become exposed, all kinds of crazy stuff happens. The thing is, investigation, that expose I just mentioned, the revealed mechanic, cannot be resisted, cannot be dispelled. The exposed could probably be dispelled, but the revealed and the investigation cannot be. There are other ways to apply stacks of investigation, obviously, and so because of that, you don't need potency. The only thing in the leadership that says focus on this is that critical chance, critical damage, and offense. That's in the speed. That's the only thing we need to consider there. When looking at his unique, there's a bit more happening here. And this is where the potency, I think, comes into play. And I think the potency is going to be really, really important. And like, sincerely, this could be really important. Like, C-3PO level exposes on enemy when people attack out of turn, I think is the way that works, right? Like, Han Solo shoots, C-3PO puts the expose on him, Han Solo shoots again, pops 20% extra damage on the enemy. Something similar is going to happen here through arrest warrant with Mace Windu. So let's start at the top. First off, in green, this should have been part of the leadership. I don't know why it's in the unique, but straight up, it's like the same thing. At the start of the battle, if everybody, Jedi Vanguard gain foresight, cool. Mace taunts, cool. Ignores taunt, sorry, cool. But then if Depa married is an ally, Mace gains that 30% health and another 15 speed. That should just be like leadership stuff right there. Anyway, move down to where you see the debuff provoked. Whenever Mace deals damage to an enemy with at least one stack of investigation, inflict them with provoke. This is huge. First, it can be resisted. So you want potency. You need this potency to land the provoke. Why? Provoke is massively effective in this squad. What is provoke? Quick reminder in white underneath the icon. It basically, the enemy gains 100% counter chance. What? Yes, but the damage they deal is reduced by 90%. Whew, that's good, right? However, when attacking out of turn, which is the counter chance, they are going to take 20%, well, they can take damage equal to 20% of their maximum health. So what happens is you hit an enemy, you inflict them with provoked, and then there are ways to hit that target as much as 4 times in one turn. As I understand it, like if Mace swings and hits, then swings and hits again, then swings and hits a 3rd time, the enemy is going to counterattack 3 times. And if that is indeed the case, then they're going to take 60% of their health and damage. Right? I could be mistaken about that, but I'm relatively certain that's the way this works. And there are a lot of ways to get multiple hits on enemies through this team. So landing the provoked of everything on this page, not looking at the Territory War Omicron, that provoke, I think may be among the most important. Now, of course, putting low morale on the enemy is even better. How do you get that yellow low morale? You kill the enemy leader, plain and simple. What does it do? The entire enemy team that remains loses 25% defense, health, offense, and speed. 25% speed. Now, that means if you're rocking your mace around 350, and they're at, say, they're at 320, and you're already faster, good, you win first. You kill their leader, hopefully. They lose 25% speed. They're down to 240 now, right? Which means your mace is going to take a turn every 1.5 of their turns, basically. You're going to start looping them really fast. That's why, again, I recommend high speed. You don't want a 1-to-1 parity. You want like a 2-to-1 or a 1.5-to-1 at minimum, right? So potency is very important here. All right, now when we look at the first basic, there is nothing here that to be concerned about other than we're going to deal damage. Great, deal damage. But I've underlined in light gray. This is what's really, really, really important. First off, if all your allies are Vanguard and you swing in with a basic, you're going to inflict them with Shatterpoint, right? It says deal physical damage to target enemy, and if all allies are Vanguard at the start of the battle, inflict them with Shatterpoint until the end of the encounter, which cannot be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. So potency here don't matter. You hit them with Shatterpoint. Now remember, I said there are many, many, many ways to attack out of turn, and when you attack out of turn, you're using your basic, or to double tap or triple tap. Here's the thing, if they have Shatterpoint, reduce all ally Vanguard cooldowns by 1. Now, Temple Guard has an AoE ability block. Its cooldown is 3. And Depa has some really awesome AoEs. Or not, yeah, she has an AoE that's amazing. She has something else that's pretty amazing. Cooldown of 3 and 4. So If Mace swings in and triple taps, and there are ways to do it, he has the potential basically of resetting everyone's cooldowns. Just drop it to 1, drop it to 1, drop it to 1. So the faster Mace is, the more times he's going to do this, and the more times he does this, the more times your entire team gets to use their specials. The faster Jocasta Nu gets to her rifle mode. And I don't think you need to mod Mace for offense yet, because I think that Depa, and more importantly Jocasta, is your damage dealer. I think Mace is really like a support character in disguise here. But again, time will tell. We look at his Decapitation Strike. Nice name there. And again, we're going to deal physical damage. If everybody's Vanguard, gain tenacity up, so what? In yellow, if target enemy was in the leader slot. Remember, you want to kill the enemy leader. He deals double damage, which is pretty cool. Right there's maybe you want some offensive mods. Double damage of more offense is more double damage on offense, whatever. However, if the enemy leader slot was already defeated and you're swinging in, you're going to be able to apply doubt on the entire enemy team. And I should have underlined that one in white, but that's potency. Doubt means the entire enemy team cannot gain bonus turn meter or buffs or recover protection. And that is just... whoa, that is nasty. Like, the only thing would be better would be like stun him for 6 turns, right? So again, this doubt though can, oh sorry, this one, no, it should not be underlined because it cannot be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. So we don't worry about that. If the target enemy was revealed, it does triple damage. Cool, fine, nice, that's good to know. His second one, the Hammer of Ryloth. Physical damage to all enemies, AoE, that lends itself to wanting offense. Gain offense up, that's good, lends itself to wanting offense. Skip down to the third line. If the target enemy was revealed, how do you get revealed? 5 stacks of investigation. Call all Vanguard to assist, and if Depa is an ally, she assists again. Remember what I was talking about, that provoked? You hit him with provoked, then everybody swings in, you get that AoE, Depa calls to assist, and then Depa assists again if it goes from investigation to revealed. I think that that could happen in between on those assists. I don't know. We'll have to see how that, where the checks are. It's kind of like Magic the Gathering. What's the order on the stack? I'm not entirely too sure. But nonetheless, the point is, Depa's going to be assisting. She's got cool stuff on her basic. Similarly, on her kit, she's got ways to call in assists. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of assisting. And again, I think the provoked is really important. All right. Beyond that, here's the synergies we're getting from the allies. We already looked at the green and white here. The yellow, this is Depa's special. When an ally uses a special, she calls a random other attacker ally to assist. Well, you only have you have 3 attacker allies. You got Jocasta, you got Mace, you got Depa. So you got a 1 in 3 chance that it's going to be Mace swinging in using his basics. So you want to attack somebody with Shatterpoint. And if that's the case, then you're dropping the cooldowns on all your allies. Sweet! And everybody heals. Also on ILS, she has a 35% chance whenever she's using her basic. So just on a basic, she's got a chance to call in Mace and reduce your cooldowns. So always attack the people with Shatterpoint. GAC Omicron for Temple Guard, moving right along. Depa. Now there's more happening than just this, but we're going to look at 2 of her attacks. Second paragraph. Deal physical damage to all enemies with Shatterpoint. And you want that Shatterpoint, you want a fast Mace. His Shatterpoint cannot be resisted on basic, so you want to be landing Shatterpoint. Then deal physical damage to all enemies. And inflict Shatterpoint on enemies this bonus damage was dealt to. I'm trying to figure out which one's the bonus damage. I'm pretty sure it's the second one. If that's the case, then it implies that everybody's going to get Shatterpoint. Till the end of the encounter, which cannot be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Sweet! That would mean at any point that Mace swings in and attacks anybody with a basic from this point on, whether it's his own turn or being called to assist, he's going to start dropping the cooldowns of your team. This could get nuts. Now below that, inflict healing immunity on the target enemy. That's great. And call Mace to assist twice. 2 times. And I'm just going to go ahead and back up just for, to remind you of this. 2 times on his basic. Right there. If you target somebody who already had Shatterpoint, reduce the cooldowns of all Vanguard by 2. This means speed is really important because you need Depa to take turns, lots of turns to use the abilities. You need Mace to take lots of turns also to reduce cooldowns, to keep your team spamming their specials. Just sweet. Oh, look, I already had it right there. I already had it on the same screen. Yeah. So the point is, I don't think you're going to go wrong. If you mod Mace Windu for offense, critical damage, or speed, I don't think you can go wrong. All three of those I think are going to be fabulous options. However, I think a fast Mace is going to be way more beneficial than a harder hitting Mace. I think Jocasta Nu and Depa are going to be able to do all the damage you need for this team. I think Mace needs to be taking his turns to apply the shatter points, to apply the provoked and other nonsense that he does. So this is how I'm modding my Mace to start, and we'll see next week when he comes to the game if it still, well, holds up. All right, folks, once again, I hope you got something on this video. If so, please hit that like, hit the subscribe, pretty please. See, I can be cute, or I could do please. All right, see, I've lived in Asia way too long. Anyway, hit the like, hit the sub. I do appreciate it, and stay tuned as I still have the Jocasta Nu video to produce. And don't worry, she has fundamentally no contributions to the team other than she's just going to hit really, really hard. And I will do a recap synopsis of all of this once Mace comes to the battlefield, so we can get some play testing, test out these mod recommendations, and give the final, like, for sure, here's what I think. And then I will do later after that a Jedi Vanguard B squad, and that will just be a single video just rapidly running through what's likely a Keller and Beck squad. So, all right, thank you for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.